Gulfport's Aviation Museum opened a new Vietnam War exhibit this year. Here is museum's executive director, Francisco Gonzalez.
I wanted to tell the story of Vietnam and more important, the story of Mississippi in the Vietnam War and what kind of role did we played on it. And I contacted the historians and learn about it. So they helped me find out how to best tell the story like a parallel of what was happening in Vietnam and what was happening in Mississippi at the time. And I decided to do a timeline. To me, it's important. Timelines are important because it tells you things that you never knew. We're able to explain the story on a timeline of Vietnam from the early beginnings in 1887 to 1975. And below the line, I wanted to explain to the visitors where Mississippi was during the Vietnam War and what we did, things that happened. We had a lot of issues with civil rights then. Uh, we had the construction of NASA. We had the first African American, James Meredith, enlisting in a university. The protests that ensued in 1968 and 1966 and 1767, because we're realizing that we were losing a lot of soldiers. And at the end, we tell you the story of how many we have lost and, uh, and how many people perished during that war. If you look down at these floors, they're green right here. And one night I went home and I was watching a documentary about Agent Orange. And I remember that I had orange tile. So what I did is I started splattering the orange on the floors. And eventually I transitioned into the orange because of, so that's the representation of these floors on this gallery. Also, if you notice, I have some, on this gallery over here, I had yellow tile that was donated, and I just created what I call the Ho Chi Minh Trail right through the center of the gallery. The customers can come here and watch veteran stories. These are stories that we recorded at the Armed Services Retirement Home in Gulfport. And these are people that were in the war of Vietnam. On this part of the exhibit, I wanted to show the American side of the war, okay? During the war, uh, 6 governors of the state of Mississippi. We had 6 governors during the war. That's how long that war went. All right. Uh, we have a collection, diorama of some of the airplanes that flew in Vietnam, a collection of the uniforms that were used in Vietnam. But one of my favorite things that I never understood when I was reading the history is that we never call it a war. We call it the Vietnam conflict. And I never understood because it looked to me like it was a war, it lasted a long time. To entertain the children, we built a hole so the kids can go through there to the other side. And on the other side is how the Vietnamese saw the war. So let's take a look at it. On this side, we have what the Vietnamese called the war. It was called the American War. That's what they called it. To us, it was a conflict. To them, it was a war, the American War. Uh, we have a collection of artifacts from the war that was being donated by many people that come in here. In fact, we just got this RPG right here, and it was fantastic, incredible RPG, Vietnamese, actually Viet Cong. Uh, Mr. Horton donated that. Somebody dropped this magazine, this newspaper right here, and he's got a picture of one of our board members' father, Rosemary Rusa. Isn't that interesting? And then more pictures of the war. Uh, this wall we're working on right now, it's depicting what the effects of Agent Orange did in Vietnam. So here we have the foliage and the greenery, and then after the Agent Orange was sprayed through airplanes, uh, look what happened. So I wanted to show what it would look like with the trees falling, the leaves falling. I want to honor the pilots who were shut down over Vietnam, but I wanted to do it a little differently. I wanted you, the visitor, to feel what it was like to be behind bars. So in order to read about all the pilots from Mississippi who were incarcerated, you have to read through the bars. I wanted to take you there. I want to make you feel like, wow, I am behind bars trying to find out about this guy. And my daughter Bella did all the art for it. And the Latter-day Saints Church, I remember walking in this room. I didn't know what I was going to do, but I said, hey guys, let's paint some rocks, some dark, make it look like a, you know, a ugly, dark room. And that was kind of like the idea of building this. And the Gulf Coast Community College welding department, they build these iron fences for us. But this is my favorite part of this exhibit because it really transports you to Vietnam and, you know, the jails over there. The helicopter, this beautiful helicopter, is a 1968 experimental, okay? And even though it did not fly in Vietnam, we do not have the means to purchase a Huey. So I had the children during summer camp put the helicopter together. And now it serves as a photo op for many, many, many kids coming here and they get in that helicopter and enjoy themselves. Wonderful. I hope somebody gives us a Huey. I'll put it right here too. Oh, this is a great room. I came in here one day and I saw this green wall and the Latter-day Saints Church. People were here and I said, hey guys, I have an idea. Paint something to do with a protest of the war. And they went to town. I didn't tell them what to do. They came in here and they started painting and, you know, about what we were going through, stop the violence, you know, spread love, no war. And then one day I said, what else can I do here? And I came with the idea of the lava lamps. And I started collecting lava lamps. People donated them. Some of them I bought on eBay. They represent an era, okay? It represents an era. And I had an iPod playing Creedence Clearwater Revival or The Doors, but it got stolen. And that's life. People do that. But then uh, I went to a thrift store and the Women's Center were selling these chairs. And I paid $10 for each one of these chairs. And people said, what are you going to do with those? I said, I have an idea. And I put them in here. You sit on these chairs. You put on this, okay? And it transports you. It transports you to videos of Vietnam War. It's crazy. And this people love this room. It's like, I call it the hippie room. And then we did some crazy stuff on the floor. And, you know, it don't have to be perfect, but it's beautiful.
Visit Gulfport's amazing aviation museum to see this and several other exhibits. Thank you for watching. If you like my videos, please subscribe.